Are you ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Oh my goodness. I blocked my own face with my face. That's what happens when you are singing and dancing along to this theme song, which has been played for 62 times this week. Welcome to the Roundtable. Hey, everybody. My name is Robert Bannon. Thank you so much for being here, especially with the list of shows we've been doing lately. They mean a lot to me, and I hope you've been enjoying them as much as I have been. They're from my heart to yours. So welcome. Hey, Kevin. That's Kevin, who is in 5th grade with me. That's my mother. Hi, Mom. And hello, Abby Thompson over there in the UK. I am excited to have you here. She traveled 21 hours and she's still watching. Kevin's got a joke for us. Kev, go hit it. Kev, why didn't the snowman eat the cake? There wasn't icing. Kevin, thank you, buddy. That's a good joke. I love I was looking for something green, hence why I didn't take and the only thing I had green was this candle, which is a saint, religious candle. The saint being Estelle Getty. Doesn't she look like we're related? I can be an Estelle Getty impersonator. Well, welcome to the show. Thank you for everybody who's tuned in. Thank you for everybody who watched last week. Last week, we had the incredible Angelica Ross, Ultra Nate, and Mila Jam here. It was an amazing show. They were fantastic, and over 7,000 people watched. And I hope you all checked out this week's Roundtable Talks. The Roundtable Talks is a bonus episode of this show we do every single Tuesday. And this week was singing sensation Sam Ty and Casey Braves. They have over 500 million views on YouTube and have been retweeted and talked about from everyone from Britney Spears to Ellen to Oprah. And they were here talking about their relationship. They adopted a baby together. Really, really a beautiful story. So I'm so happy for you all to be here. Thank you. Hello, Detroit. Hello, Darius Wheeler. Nice. Thank you for being here. Oh, Janelle liked it. They're sweet. Aren't they a beautiful couple? I love it. Here's another student of mine. Hi, Adeline. Long time no see. Well, welcome. And thank you for being here. Last week, we did the show with 2 trans amazing singers. We have an amazing trans actress in a time when we need to speak out about human rights and the rights of the queer community, as there are 300 laws looking to be passed. I saw that there's a law on the books in Texas that's being voted on that women are not allowed to talk about their cycle. This is what is being, so it's not an attack in schools. It's not an attack on queer community or trans people only, or just drag queens. It's an attack on women. It's an attack on interreligion, interrace. And we're going to use this platform as much as we can to speak about it. It's not about politics. It's about people. So thank you for being here. It means a lot to me. My little bully pulpit. I want to say a big shout out and thank you. There's a new member to the Robert Bannon team, and I know that she's watching, and I want to say thank you for all the help you've given me this week. We have a brand new work and help here on team. So if anyone ever hears or sees an email or a name Belle Goodman pop up, welcome to Assistant Belle Goodman to the Robert Bannon experience. This is our first week working together, and she did a whole bunch of things like reels and help get views and promote everything. So I want to welcome Belle to the team and thank you for being a part of this tornado. Hold on to your hat. Hi, Christine. Hello, Roundtablers. The Roundtable Talk Show was phenomenal. Love them both. Yeah, it was great. It was great the other day on Tuesday. They were so sweet. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And Kevin, good. Do your homework. Do your homework for sure. All right, everyone. Are you ready? Let's talk about the week. Are you ready to talk about the week? It's time for the week in review. Well, yeah, we talked about the show last week. I had a favorite moment last week, and it embarrasses me to look back on it now, but be legendary, be necessary, extraordinary, fierce, call me mother. Yeah. If you listen to the song, you'll get it. Nothing like voguing with Miss Ross. Just a blast. I was fascinated also by this show that's on TV called That's My Jam. And I used to watch it at the gym, and it's back for season 2. And if you know anything about me, you all know that I'm like pretty obsessed with Miss Patti LaBelle. It was my first professional gig, was singing background for Patti LaBelle at the Beacon Theater. And I've been obsessed with her ever since. So when she was on the show, I haven't watched it yet. It's on my DVR, but this went viral the other day. They make them sing their hit songs with different lyrics. Take a look at Miss Patty, 79 years old.
Take you the home that I had in my dreams. I go off the club with my tweets. Oh, no thanks, bro. I got a bucket of dough. Oh,
Cook me a frittata Donna. That's the new voulez-vous coucher avec quoi? Cook me a frittata Donna. Funniest thing. So funny. Watch the whole clip. Watch That's My Jam on NBC or wherever you watch things. And maybe Lady Marmalade is a part of my set on a show, but we'll get to that in a minute. We'll talk about that for sure. She is mother. That's right. Miss LaBelle is mother for sure. What did we do? I saw a great show this week. I saw a parade. Thank you to everyone at OMDKC for inviting me to see parade. I went with my friend Mike. We went and checked it out. It's heavy. It's a heavy story, but it's done beautifully. It's as vital and prevalent as ever. You remember they protested this show. They had literally white supremacists outside protesting this show. So it's so important to be seen and heard and for the actors to be safe. Tonight's their opening. So I wish my friend Matthew Johnson Harris, the associate director, and this cast, we'll talk more about who's on the show next week and it involves that. And on Sunday, cousin Adrian hosted a big Oscar party. She had a backdrop. She had a red carpet and we ate and we watched. And I hope you Oscared yourselves all the way up as well. It was a really fun party for sure. They showed that clip in Jimmy Fallon Rat at Universal. Abby just came back from Orlando, so she was in Universal. That's hysterical. It's such a funny clip. You have to watch the whole thing. I can't wait to watch the whole episode for sure. Cook me a frittata Donna. We'll live forever. How about a shameless plug while we're here? Do you mind? Let's do it.
'Cause I'm shameless.
Well, we have a lot to plug away with. We have so many exciting things going on over here in my little magical world. Yes, I announced it on social media. I talked about it on the show last time. It's officially official. June 2nd, I will be bringing my Pride playlist to 54 Below at 9:30 at night. Tickets are on sale. It's the first Friday of Pride. It is literally the New Jersey Pride Chamber of Commerce does a big opening on the 1st, and then we will be doing the first 54 Below Pride festivities on June 2nd. And I promise you a big surprise, lots of guests that will be announced in the coming weeks. Grab your tickets because we sold a bunch already. And then I'm going on a Pride tour and, I'll be anywhere and everywhere that asks me. So be ready, America, because we'll be announcing where we're going to be very soon as we roll on. And then, of course, that the Broadway lecture series is my baby. The amazing Jennifer Holliday, who was on the Tamron Hall show this week singing And I Am Telling You, will be joining me on the 15th of April, a Saturday night. You will see the legendary Tony and Grammy-winning superstar live and in person, less than 100 seats. You can see her, hear her story, and meet her for less than one Benjamin Franklin bill. You can meet the one and only Jennifer Holliday, and then coming up in months to come, Carrie Butler and Eden Espinosa will be joining me as well. So you wanted to get tickets to all of this and you want to find more information. If you want tickets to the show, go to 54below.com. If you want tickets for the Broadway lecture series, go to broadwaylectureseries.com. I know I talk Jersey fast, so beat. And if you want all of that and more, you can just go to robertbannon.com. The links are there as well. And since my mama Rose is watching, if you want to support this show, you can always Venmo at rbannon. The money that is sent my way goes directly to promoting the show. And when we promote the show, we get better guests. And when we get better guests, we get more views, and we get more views, we get access to more things. There's more red carpets coming in the weeks to come. There's more Broadway stars coming in the weeks to come. Who's coming on soon? Jerry Springer, Adriana Hicks from Some Like It Hot, the experts from Married at First Sight. We're going on the red carpet of Life of Pi. We're going on the red carpet of the Rosie Theater Gala. We're going on the red carpet of the Drama League Award. So you're going to want to stick around. And if you want to contribute and keep this show going, because the show costs money to run this platform every month, it would be my great honor and privilege. But otherwise, it's free. It's free. What a great way to start Pride. It's a party and a celebration. It will be there. It is not a story. It is not my woe is me coming out story. It is not my life story. We told those stories. It's a party. We are going to have a party, and we're turning 54 Below back into Studio 54. We're going to disco. Make me a frittata Donna all night long. Oh, yes. Oh, and yes, prepare for the Married at First Sight show. It's a good one. Samantha Lugo, I'm just about to talk about you. Samantha Lugo, if she was alive during Studio 54 days, gulp. Let's I feel you, Ed. Let's talk about our friends, right? Friends. Is that what's next? How do you do this? What is this show? Hey, friend, hey.
I'll be there for you. How you doing?
I wanted to talk. I was so sad, and I was going to say, Sam. That's Sam. The legendary Joe Pepitone passed away. And if you know anything about Joe Pepitone, he's a famous New York Yankee, and he passed away. And I was so sad to hear about Joe Pepitone, because Joe Pepitone is a character. And through the years, my dad loves sports memorabilia. So we used to go to card shows and baseball card shows, and sometimes we'd get invited to these events. So we once went to a Yankee game, and we sat in a suite, and Joe Pepitone was the guest, and he signed baseballs, and me and Sam went, and whatever. And then we went to Yankee Stadium a couple of weeks later, and we got to tour Yankee Stadium, and who was there but Joe Pepitone. And so Samantha walks into this luncheon where he's sitting there signing baseballs and says, "Mr. Pepitone, remember that time we shared a suite together?" And he said, "We did?" And he looked at her and he said, "Oh my God, please don't tell my wife." And she was like, no, be sweet at a game. He was a character, and much love and Godspeed to Mr. Pepitone. And thanks for all the joy that you gave, for sure. Yeah, no, don't go like this. This is good. See? No, I'm not saying that's who Miss Lugo is. That's a different Samantha. Yes, let's go. Yes, we're friends. We are. Okay. So, yes, welcome to my life. So, everybody, what else do I have to say? See, true story. That's, I don't know. That just made me laugh when I heard he passed away. It made me think of it. Next week, I wanted to shout everybody out and let you know that Nick Fradiani, who won American Idol season 15, he's like a Bruce Springsteen, and he did all these covers of Neil Diamond songs, and now he's cast as Neil Diamond as his alternate for A Beautiful Noise. So our first American Idol winner, Nick Fradiani, a good Italian from Connecticut, is going to be here next week, and he's going to be here and tell us all about his journey from American Idol all the way to Broadway. And then, as I said to you before, Armstrong Johnson, who is starring in Parade with Ben Platt, will be here as well. I got to see him in his show, and it's fantastic. So you're not going to want to miss it. The show is a labor of love and has been done 62 weeks and 38 others. So I don't know, 100 plus shows, plus 50 something of the 170 hours worth of interviews I've gotten to do since the pandemic. And I'm so grateful for that. And I sometimes look at it all and I'm just incredibly in awe. And it all is thanks to the people who watch. And it's all thanks to you, and to sell out shows and to do events in Detroit or LA or in Florida or in Maine or etc. It's bigger than my wildest dream. But I know that this platform is bigger than me, and it's bigger than you. It's about people and causes. And when I see my students watch, and I see people that were former students of mine pop in and say hello like they did on Instagram, I realize that I have an opportunity to build a platform that we can speak an awareness of all different types of people, especially when the news and the media and certain political parties and certain political speeches seem to be mean to groups. So last week's show and this week's show is really dedicated to exposure, because the more we see people and we hear their stories and we hear their struggles, we realize that people are people no matter who they love, what color skin they are, what gender they are, or how they identify. They're still a person that has feelings, deserves to be seen, loved, and respected. So Byron Perkins is here. He's the first out HBCU football player who came out to much fanfare with much nerves and anxiety about what was going to happen, and he's going to tell his story. And then we have Alexandra Grey, who went through the foster system and was kicked out of home when she was turned trans and left to be an actress with $30 in her pocket. Two really inspiring stories and role models. So So we are going to tell their stories today, and I do have this to say. So let me just say this. Byron is a 21, 22-year-old college kid. So the language, if you have young kids and you don't like language, this is not the interview for them. But if you're grown and you mind growing people's business, Byron Perkins is here, and I'm so excited to share what he had to say. Take a peek. All right, everyone. So I read this story recently, and I needed to reach out to our next guest because I was so moved by the authenticity and the honesty and the talent and all about this whole show. The Roundtable is all interested in being seen. And as an educator, I have had so many students who come out and talk to me about their lives. And I was just so moved by Byron Perkins. And I'm so excited and honored to have Byron here. So Byron Perkins, welcome to the Roundtable. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It is an honor and a pleasure. And congratulations on all of the success and notoriety. And it must be a crazy, crazy year.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster for the most part, but nonetheless, it's been quite awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that is exciting. Before I ask you about all things, I want to just go back. You're from Chicago?
The best city in the world.
The best city I like Chicago. Come on, but you give us New Yorkers a run for our money out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the East Coast got New York, but Chicago is where it's at. Chicago's where it's at for sure.
I hear you. And when did you start playing football?
Oh man, so I started playing football. I really started pursuing football. Really freshman year of high school. That's when I really started, coming into my own in regards to football. And then I sucked. I was terrible. I was awful. God awful. Yeah, go ahead, laugh. But sophomore year, I got in the weight room. I hit the field more. I did more drills. I did everything I needed to do, and I went from the laughing stock of the team to one of the best players on the team.
Yeah, and then you make the Sun Times All-Star 50 team. You made quite the name for yourself before you even stepped foot.
Yep. I remember that. Yeah, you did your research. Wow.
Tried to do we try to do our research.
Yeah, okay.
What made you, talking about sports, what made you drawn to football in particular? What was it that was it something that was said to you? Was it friends, family? What made you think that was the sport for you?
I always just thought like the game was so cool. You know what I mean? I always thought it was just like football players just got so much swag and so much, like awesome demeanor and everything. I just thought that, they're upstanding members of society. So I always just wanted to be that person. I felt like I wanted to live up to that expectation. I wanted to be the one of the committed in regards to my sport. And more than anything, I just loved the camaraderie, but I also love making plays, man. I love making plays. And I love the spotlight. I really do. I can't lie about it. Yeah.
You say you sucked. You haven't seen me play football. You want to see someone suck? Watch you play any sport. But so you transfer. Fast forwarding, you go to college. You transfer to Hampton University. You're a Hampton University Pirate. You're a junior defensive back, whatever that means for this little one here. and you start to build this career of tackles and plays and this reputation and this whole entire. I mean, here's some pictures of in action.
Oh wow, thank you. Okay.
And so you have this college life. What point, if I maybe ask you this question, you can feel free not to. At what point did you decide to let the world into your personal life? And what was that journey and struggle like? How long did it take for you to just say, screw it, I'm just going to let it out?
So that's a great question. Because I don't let people into my personal life. That is a recipe for disaster. But I will say that I started to let the public into my personal life when it started affecting my play. When it started affecting my psyche and when it started affecting my mental health, that's when I knew it had gone too far. And I just as I said in many other interviews, I realized that I could die. Like I could die right now, and I will be living for the perspective that other people have of me. Absolutely not. No, I can't. I refuse to live by that dynamic, and so I just said, screw it. Or better words, fuck it. So I just did everything that I could to make sure that I hope this is a PG.
You can say anything you want. Anything you want.
Yeah. So I just more than anything, I wanted to make sure that I was being the best person that I could be, but I couldn't be the best person that I could be if I was also hiding the version of myself that had to exist in order for me to reach my full potential.
It's very moving to me. I came out later in life. I have had this
Mhm.
whole other life where I was married to my high school sweetheart, and I came out at 32 years old. I have my own saga, and when I'm a school teacher in real life. I teach fifth grade. I'm an out educator. I have students who come out to me or they question their life, and it's very moving. My school is 93% economically disadvantaged. They know that to you because to you because your reach to communities and to people who feel like they have no outlet. You talked in an interview about going to an HBCU university and feeling like the on campus, some of them don't have an outlet, don't have a space. And also, I know this is a many things to you, but you also talk about your spirituality, and a lot of the times, and even in my own life, Christianity and religion and sexuality, they aren't always married together. You are such an example. You're going to help a lot of people, Byron. You're going to help so many people. Was that in the forefront of your mind? Did you expect this reaction?
I swear. If anything, I expected the opposite to happen. I expected there to be backlash. I expected there to be lawsuits. I expected there to be a whole bunch of nonsense, not only coming from the university, but also coming from my peers, my friends, my family. I expected a whole bunch of different reactions. But then when I realized that it was the complete opposite, it kind of I had this epiphany of like, what was I waiting for? like, like I was expecting all these things to like crumble down around me, but in reality, none of that happened. And I'm not saying that that's the same for everyone. Everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own path. And it's important that we emphasize that everyone's journey is different, because I'm not going to have the same journey as someone who doesn't have the family support or the friend base or the peers that look up to them and everything like that. Somebody's going to get put down, somebody's going to be chastised, somebody's going to be challenged. But it's important that that person realizes that who they are deciding to become now is going to be better for their future, and it is going to be even better that they are living in their truth now, whereas you're 30 years, 40 years, 50 years down the line, and you don't even know who you are.
Well, yes. I wish I could. I wish someone would have been there. I wish I could have seen an example like that, even in my own childhood. It is really powerful and moving to me. You alluded to in Instagram, and I'm reading the articles about you. You posted this post that whoever fights monsters should be careful. Roundabout does not want to become the monster. Did you? It was something that I'm sure people in your life knew, and then you had to make a decision to be public about it. Did you feel like hiding a part of you was not letting you live this full, authentic self? Were you becoming someone you didn't really want to be?
I was becoming a very, very bad person. Let me calm down. I wasn't becoming a very I wasn't. All right, I wasn't becoming a very, very bad person, but in all actuality, like as I said before, those who fight monsters need to be sure that in the process they do not become a monster. I was fighting monsters outside of myself, but I was also having an internal battle of whether or not I was going to live an authentic lifestyle or whether or not I was going to continue to live in the shadows. And when I tell you, that was one of those battles where it was like, Byron, if you don't, like my spirit was telling me this, it's like, Byron, if you don't give me this, there will be repercussions. and ultimately there were. I was angry. Like I said before, I was a very mad dude, and I'm not a mad person. I have a very calm demeanor. I'm a very nice person, but for some reason, I was so irate. I was so mad all the time. I wanted to punch people in the face, and I was wondering where all this anger was coming from. But it was really the fact that I was angry because I was allowing the world to give me a perspective about my life, and I wanted to abide by that narrative just so I could fit someone else's paradigm. I was like, nah, damn that. I have too much living to do. I have too much inspiring to do. I got too much life to live to be playing with y'all. So yeah, I had to. Yes, I
Amen.
had to make that ultimate decision, so to speak.
So now when you walk through campus, you're not only just, one of the football stars of the football team, you also have this notoriety, all of this the hoopla around you. How has that
Yeah.
been to get this kind of attention in a different type of way? You must get DMs from people with their stories, and you hear all sorts of things about people's journeys. How has that responsibility been on your shoulders?
It's been kind of crazy, to be honest. It's been kind of I didn't realize that it would have so much impact, and not the wavelength of the impact, like the people who have reached out and the people that it has connected with and is registered with and everything, like, and more than anything, what I feel like is most important, being able to change the ideologies and some of the the mindsets of some of my teammates. That has been actually one of the best things that I've done throughout this whole process, is because, it's like, like, obviously in the locker room, there's always that gay talk, like, oh, you gay, this, everything like that. But you know what, man, I can tell you this, like, my teammates have respected me more than uh, anybody, like, really anybody. And it's because they came to understand that the foundation and the core of who I am is not just based around my sexuality. It's not tied to that. So once they came to understand that, the sky was the limit, and I've been able to develop the same brotherhood that I always wanted while still being able to be myself. That was really, I'm not gonna lie, that was probably the best thing that I could have ever wished for. Really, truly.
It's beautiful. That's like a
Mhm.
really truly beautiful story. I
For
love
sure.
how you say that your sexuality is just a piece of who you are, because I feel like that was one of the problems with me. It was my own stigma. I felt like everything's going to
Mhm.
be gay. He's the gay teacher, he's the gay singer, he's the gay, and it's now part of the
Mhm.
thing. But at some point, Byron, I want to be able to move past that and just talk about you as the athlete you are,
Yeah,
you are.
yeah. Like, it's not just who. That's not who. Like, it's a part of who I am, but it's not all of who I am. And being able to get people to understand that in itself is so important, right? Because, there's so many dimensions of a person. Nobody's just their work. Nobody's just their sexuality. Nobody's just the things that they do. There are so many different dimensions to people, and we shouldn't try to put people in a box of like, oh, this is who he is. This is the narrative that he know. Allow people to transcend and allow people to evolve the best possible versions of themselves, regardless of what the labels are. I feel like that's important. I feel like that's important even for not just like myself, but or even the people that I'm inspiring at a young age, but even for humanity, man. Like, we gotta move past that. We gotta move past that.
Absolutely, can't say it better than that. You're deep. You're a deep dude.
I'm really I'm listen. Hold on, I got the low battery mode popping up on my screen, but yeah. I'm so philosophical, man.
I
It
love
actually kind
it.
of sucks.
No,
No, it kind of sucks because I listen when I'm 22, and usually when I have these conversations, my teammates are like, "Oh my god, dude, shut up!"
no,
Like
I'm a
we don't care.
Scorpio. Let's put the tiger back in the cage. This deep thinking Scorpio crazy. Look, I am not 22. I haven't been 22 in 18 years. And I'm telling
Yeah.
you, I wish my friends and people my age were able to have that conversation and think about humanity as a whole and the influence that they're making. And will change the world. I mean, you are changing the world. So you're junior. So what's next? What's the goal? What happens in a year and a half?
Well, I've already graduated. That's the good news. I've already graduated. I've already I've already started the process of graduation, so I'm gonna be done in May technically, because I have the ceremony that my mom and my family want to go to. I could care less if I walk, but still, like, but nah. For the most part, I got the ceremony, but I really cannot show the world what I got cooking up. I really can't wait to show the world that I can play football. I can do this. I can do that. There are so many dynamics. There's so much more to who I am than my sexuality, this sport, what, social media portrays me as. So I'm excited for that journey. And trust and believe I'm not gonna be working no 9 to 5. That's one thing. I'm not gonna be doing that. I'm gonna be
Good.
doing something that is spiritually healing and speaks to my psyche and to my mental. So yeah, I can't wait to see what I do in the future, but I'm very excited about it.
Well, I'm excited. The best is yet to come. You've only just begun. If it's football, if it's sports, if it's media, you're a star. You're a star. You could be hosting something. You could do media in a minute. And I know you get offers, and just watch.
Thank you.
Thank you
I
for
appreciate that.
sharing your truth, and it is really powerful. It was really moving when I read the article. It really touched me to see
Thank you.
uh
Thank you.
yet your age and stage with all that's going for you to be able to take a step forward. You're saving lives. Really. And
And that is in itself has been like the biggest like moment for me is just, having people reach out like, "Oh my God, you saved my life. You allowed me to stand up to my parents. You allowed me to say this, to do that." You know, I'm addicted to that. And as long as I can keep doing that, I'm good. I'm good.
well, I'll be following. We'll be following here in New York, New Jersey area. I know across this country,
Mhm.
world. If you want to
Yeah.
follow the journey, make sure you can find Byron on Instagram and
Thank you.
watch him work out. I wish I was 22 and could be in shape. Byron,
Yeah.
all I eat is kale and salad. Help me. What am I
I,
doing wrong?
I'm gonna give you a nutrition plan. Don't even worry about it. I got you. On me. On me.
Done. Everyone, Byron Perkins. Everyone, follow, watch what happens in the future, and thank you so much for your time and your spirit. It means a lot. How about that? It's it was a wonderful conversation. I was so proud to see him taking the torch and running in a way, in a time, in a place that you would not be able to have this conversation 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. He, since we filmed that interview, has gone on to go to Washington, D.C. with Colton Underwood to talk about LGBT sports and advocate for the fairness of different identified genders in sports. He received a GLAAD award in California. So he is definitely going to take his torch and run the race. So kudos to him. What a really smart, deep conversation. Yeah, 22. Oh no. I hear you, Janelle. Yes, Darius, looking forward to seeing what he decides to do, what's next. But I want to start. Darius said, when you realize you could literally die while pleasing others by hiding yourself, change has to happen. We could talk about that for a very long time. I know for me, one of the scariest parts about my journey was thinking that people were going to think that my past wasn't real and that I hid something my whole life. And this journey is very complicated and complex, and everyone's journey is different. And I think very much so we need to allow people to express and be who they are when they and in the way that they want to be. And thirsty ex-wife, all the good ones are gay, Sam. I hate this show. Yes, thank you, Christine. Byron is an inspiring, brave, beautiful soul. Thank you. I appreciate that so much, Christine. It means a lot that somebody could come on and choose our platform to talk about things like that. It means an awful lot, for sure. So kudos, Byron, and congratulations. And speaking of inspiration and all those fun things, we have with us Alexandra Grey, who has an amazing story as well. Ooh, these shows. Ooh, they're deep. What a deep month. Take a peek. I'm so excited to have our next guest. Her name has been said on the show multiple times. It may be Antoine Hopper. We have talked about Alexandra Grey. We have talked about her work, her story. Have you read her story? Do you know her story? She's one of the bravest people out there and one of the most talented actresses that's out there in Hollywood and around the world. And Alexandra Grey is here. Welcome to the Roundtable.
Hello. I'm so glad I'm finally here.
I am so glad that you're here. I know that I said to you before we started that you are just the most beautiful person. You are so beautiful.
Thank you.
And when I was researching you and I've heard about you, Quay has told me about you. Antoine may have sent me a bootleg of the life but I'm not allowed to say that. I
You said you're saying happy, so we're good.
Your journey is amazing. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And congratulations on what you do too. You've had so many of my favorites on. And so, I love watching. So I'm glad I'm finally here.
Thank you. It means so much. If you mind, when did you first notice? I read an article about you. I read about Once on this Island as a little child in Chicago. When did the bug hit you where you were like, I need to be an artist?
I mean, it goes in cycles, but I can remember it was as early as middle school, and I did a play called Once on this Island in 8th grade. And I remember I was like the only, male at the time, full picture, but I was the only one at the time who was like into musical theater. It was like before musical theater was cool for guys to do or whatever. And I just remember being that brave, even though there were no other guys wanted to sign up, no other things. And so I remember as early as middle school, but then in high school, I really had that sort of Troy Bolton High School Musical moment because I was on the track team. And then also I was on show choir. So I remember several track meets and several show choir performances were like cutting into each other. And it was like, well, we need you, your team captain, and we need you here, but we need you here. And I really wanted to be on stage more than I wanted to be on the field. And so that was then. And then, like, I guess now the artist that I am today really happened when I just became homeless. I was homeless in Chicago. My family disowned me. And someone said, you should go to LA and be an actor because you're funny. And I was like, okay, sure. It's warmer. So I moved to LA, and that's sort of how I started my artist journey. And that was about almost 12 years ago now that I've been in LA and been an artist.
Making it as an artist in Los Angeles. This is what at Out Magazine, if you read the cover story, that is her story. In it, you say you went to LA with $30.
$30.
The courage, like my little heart, my anxiety, I needed to go take a Xanax. $30 in Los Angeles. But it was through living in a shelter, trying to make ends meet to be an artist.
Yeah, that was my journey. I mean, so many of people in the community, queer folks, we all share similar stories, and that's what it was like. I mean, I was 19 maybe, and just my family was done with me. They didn't accept me being trans, and so I came to LA. I had $30, and that was it. Lived in a shelter for 2 years. 2 years lived in a shelter, and during that time I got myself into college, studied theater, and I said that I have no other option, so I have to make it. At first it started out being, I have to prove all those people wrong that said that I wasn't going to be who I'm going to be, that I wasn't going to make it. And I had something to prove, but then it changed, and I was like, I really love being an artist. I love doing music. And I've been really fortunate and really blessed to be able to do everything, because I started out trying to do music first, and then the acting found its way. I came around a really unique time, around 2015, 16, where we started to see more trans characters on television. And, I just think that God put me in the right place at the right time, to where I was in a position ready, fresh out of college, and ready to work. And they were ready to see some trans people on TV. So yeah, that was the start of the journey.
Well, if your story is pretty amazing, because if anyone that's out there, a lot of aspiring, I'm very lucky, artists and actors watch this show. And if you're out there and you want to be, the idea to be in LA or to be in New York City, if you want to be on Broadway, you can go to an open call. If you can go to an open mic night, you can sing at a cabaret space. But television and film is kind of like a secret little society. It's hard to break your way in, to become union, to get seen in front of casting directors. Your story about how you booked your first TV gig is quite a miracle in a lot of ways. How did you book your first television job?
Oh my God. Well, Transparent was my first TV gig ever. And I bought this green wig from like the beauty supply store down in Slauson Swap Meet. And they had an audition at the Wiltern. It was at the Wiltern. and it was casting for this young trans girl. And, you know, I hadn't booked anything at that point. And so I was like, okay, I didn't have an agent at the time. I had nothing. I went in there, did it. And then they called me. Somebody called me and they were like, hey, Alexandra. And they started talking to me about, you know, something. Oh, hey, Alexandra Grey official, follow me on IG. Hey. Yes, marketing.
We try.
Okay, full picture. And so they called. And I was like, what is this bitch talking about? I was just like, what are you, I was like, I'm sorry. At the end of the conversation, I was like, I'm sorry. Did I like get the role or something? Because I was so used to not hearing no. And she was like, yes, you're Eliza. And I was like, oh my gosh. And that was my first gig. And the eerily crazy part about it was that character was so much of my real life in LA, because the character shopped at Sloss and Swap Meet, which is where I got the wig. And it's where I used to hang out all the time when I was homeless. And she was a young foster child, just like me. And her story was just like mine. She went to the LGBT center, everything. So working on that show was just, I can't think of a better way to enter into this sort of business professionally than that. So that was my first TV experience. And everybody on set, I remember feeling the love and the family, and they all said, oh my gosh, once this comes out later in the year, you're going to do so well. I booked like 7 guest stars before it ever even came out. And I think it was just because of the momentum from the love that I felt on that set. And also just because it was my time, you know, so that was it.
Well, you talk about Code Black, Drunk History, which is amazing. If you have not seen Marsha P. Johnson and that Code Black, Drunk History, When We Rise, Chicago Med, Dow, Transparent, How to Get Away with Murder, the Alienist, Equalize, like shows and get
and that one that just happened. I'm kidding.
Right. The other one and the one I forgot, and I ran out of ink on my pen. And we've spoken a little bit about this with other television stars as well. There's kind of a trajectory in the world of television. You do the guest star roles, you get an arc. How has that journey been? Because eventually it leads you to things like this, like Melody Barnes, who
I recognize her.
Yeah.
I know, it look a little different.
And roles on things like MacGyver, arc on MacGyver. So how does that did it grow from the one guest star role into these arcs and these recurring characters?
Yeah, so I mean, it's really started out with maybe 15 or 16 guest stars, really. But I've been on I think 7 recurring roles I've had now. Empire was the most that I've done so far, 6 episodes. MacGyver, I just got into it before, CBS canceled the show. And I really feel like I was going to be a regular. I think I might have heard some chit chat about that, but that's okay. But yes, it definitely is a journey. And I think that I'm ready for what's next, right? I think that after being on 30 shows and playing so many different trans characters, I think that I think there's so many more trans characters to play. I have yet to play a trans doctor, a trans lawyer, all of those things, right? I think I've played trauma for so long, and I'm grateful for that because of the work and the experience. And now I think I'm ready to say I can play all characters. The resident that I shot just a couple months ago was my first non-trans specific role that I booked. Yeah. And I mean, it was, I felt like I really earned it. And it had nothing to do with me being trans. And I loved that. And I'm like, okay, that's a start. It got a little bit depressing for a while, because it's like, maybe this is all I'm ever going to get to play, is the victim, is the trauma, is the cancer patient. And I have faith. I mean, I played a helicopter pilot. And so I feel it coming.
Yes.
I feel it coming. I feel the series regular coming.
Yes.
It's time to see Black trans women like me in series regular roles, playing a character, a love interest, a lead, an intricate part of the story. That's the journey me and my team are on, is saying to Hollywood, don't just see me for the trans stuff, because I can do that. I'll love doing that. I'll always tell trans stories, but don't limit me. Don't put me in a box, because we can do it all. We're capable of it all.
Well, I know that sometimes when they don't make the roles for you, I know that you've taken on writing your own roles as well, and as a process.
Yes, yes, yes.
Deep. We were all in the IMDb pros of it all to find. So has that been intentional to say, if I'm going to make my own projects, I'm going to tell my own stories, I'm going to make my own characters?
Absolutely. You know, I can think back to even when I was homeless. I did a program called Outset. It was the first round of the Outfest filmmaking program. And I worked with a wonderful mentor, Quincy DeAndre and Tina Mabry, and I directed a short film. And this is when I was homeless. This is about 10 years ago. And from there, I remember trying to do my own web series and things. Nothing really ever panned out because I wasn't in a place in my own life. I didn't have a place to live. I didn't have those things. But I remember being so on fire for doing my own content. I wasn't worried about auditions. And I think I lost sight of that. And this year, I found that again. And I said, I'm not going to wait. I don't want to wait on anybody to see me and my talent. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait 5 years for someone to write the perfect role for a Black and brown skinned trans woman like me. And then I'm the perfect one for it. I don't want to wait 5 years. What can I do? I've executive produced many shorts. I've starred in short films. And so I am now gearing up to do my first feature film. I don't want to tell people what it's about yet, just, but it's my first feature film. It's a story, a trans romance that I've been trying to tell for 10 years. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to raise $100,000 and I'm going to shoot it on a budget of $100,000 down south, small town romance. And I'm going to write, direct, produce, star. I'm going to have a solid team and it's going to be fucking epic.
It is going to be fucking epic. Alexandra, you tell me where it is. I will fly myself down and I'll serve craft service right there.
Hey, man, I could use all the help I can get. So
you don't want me to hold the camera, but I will serve grilled cheese sandwiches, whatever you want, because I think it's so inspiring. Even in my own little mini career, I was tired of waiting for people to say yes. I was tired of people waiting to say, you're good enough to do something. I just decided, screw them. I'm going to do my own thing. And it wasn't until I felt that I really was comfortable doing my own thing that other people started to notice. I think we're so afraid to just stand on our own. So you inspire. You're so inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, it's really my motto. And listen, the shit may not work, right? But I'm going into it that it's going to work. I'm speaking it that I want my money in 2 months. I want my rich friends and all of my connections to help me out and support a Black trans woman and let her do her film her way. And I want this shot by the end of the year. And I want it at Sundance, and I want an Oscar, and I want an Emmy, and I want all the things. And I want to show people that you can eradicate us, full picture.
Well, follow her before we really get into it, so that you can donate your money and become an executive producer or get a part of this project. Being an executive producer of a short that was at Outfest last year was one of the proudest things I did, because sometimes we need to put our money where our mouth is. And speaking where our mouths are, I know that we're living some crazy ass times that we're living in, and we've been talking about it weekly, and everyone's been talking about it. How have you been mind, body, and spirit as we go through these crazy political times we're in?
I like to think that I'm a relatively strong person, and typically when people say things about me and being trans, like I typically brush it off my shoulder. But I cried a little bit this week when I saw that video, and I'm not going to speak his name, but when I saw that video, that man, that clown talking about trans people need to be eradicated from public life. When I heard that word, I mean, it really struck a chord with me, and I just was so emotional. And nothing is ever, even the stuff that Trump has said, even all, like that really struck a nerve, that it was like taking us away from public life. Like that idea just was really scary to me. And so I can only imagine, I sit in a place of privilege, being an actor, having healthcare, and, having my own place and all that. Like, so I recognize that I'm really not hurting for myself, but it's more so for the young trans people out there, the ones who aren't as privileged as some of us in the media, So my heart really breaks for them, because they're probably really terrified right now. And I guess the only thing that I can say is that you won't eradicate us. You won't get rid of us, because we've been around forever. And a lot of these people are doing this because they're clowns, and because I just think about the smiley face emoji when I think about a fucking clown. But it's just like these people are doing this because they're trying to like build up a sort of brand. They're trying to like get clout. They're trying to Candace Owens, all these people that are doing this, they're doing that for clout. And so nothing's going to come of it. So I just encourage the people out there. You have people like Hope Giselle and these trans activists out here really pounding the pavement and talking about this stuff. My job as an entertainer is to just reflect the times within my work. And I hope to just show people that trans people, that we deserve to exist as well through my work. So
that art is the reflection of the times we live in. It's literally the history book. We could go back, and so it's so important to share these stories. I was thinking before you came on about your story, I was thinking about the students that I teach every single day. I was thinking about the youth that's in homeless shelters. There's a homeless shelter in Jersey City, New Jersey for LGBT youth. And I think when you see something like that said, and you see the vitriol that's out for it, if you're a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid, queer, anything that is just alone, it's heartbreaking. It's time for us to all stand up and use our voices. And it's disappointing when people don't, Alexandra. But that's the whole. It's disappointing. But I feel like art is like the saving grace for someone. Saved my life, and I know that being an artist is something you take so seriously. When you talk about writing and acting and all of that, can you come to New York? Can we put you on a stage again? Come on, you come sing.
God. You know, I really thought after the encores, oh my God, let us say.
He is the greatest thing ever.
That's wild to me that I even got to do that. I mean, honestly, I was so terrified. But I mean, Billy Porter, you know, he's fabulous. You know, he always said, he's like, listen, bitch, you got it. You got it. All that other stuff, the lack of confidence, all that stuff, you don't think you got it? I can't help you with that. He said, but I'm telling you, you have it. Get up there and just be a star. Own it. And I really try to take that with me in everything that I do now, is to just be a star and to own it, and don't apologize for my talent, my beauty, my whatever you want to say. And so it was a beautiful experience. And, you know, I thought maybe Broadway might come knocking, you know, they didn't, but that's okay, because you know, I'm a film and TV girl and I would love to go back and do Broadway or something after I feel like I've like kind of crossed another threshold into my television film career. You know, I've done 6 indie films, and you know, we're just still waiting to see what happens with them. And so, yeah, I think that I will be, but I might be in New York to shoot a movie. I was supposed to shoot it last year, but then the dates didn't work out. So we might be shooting in June in New York for about a month. So.
Oh, not Alexandra Grey. In June in New York City, where it's going to be a rainbow extravaganza. Well, call me. I'm ready. We'll dinner and lunch and
Yes, please.
Done. I'm so excited for all of that's to come. Your story, you really moved me to be read it, and you're so honest and forthcoming about your journey, and it helps so many people, truly. A beautiful inside and out. And I'm so excited to see what's all of the work that's left to come.
It's coming. And yes, I'm going to need you to share. When I get ready to raise my money, I'm going to need you to send to all your followers. Okay.
Let's go. We need money. $100,000. We got this story to be told.
That's it.
This story needs to be told.
Pennies.
Penny, I could talk to you all day, because you have all the notes and all of the work. But I'm just excited. And I'm so grateful for you to be here and to share your story. And you're saving lives and making us inspired by your art. So thank you for sharing a piece of you. I was talking before I let you go about foster care. We were just talking yesterday about the foster care system, and I was reading your story. What gives you the courage to, when you think to end this chat with you, and thank you for your time, what gives you the courage to say, this is what happened? What was the day when you said, I'm owning my story, I'm owning my birth parents, my foster experience, the homelessness? Was there a moment where you felt you sat in your power about it? Has it been something that's been scary, or you've just always owned it?
I think I've always owned it. And it's funny, I was just talking to someone last night about a old foster parent who used to sexually abuse me. And he actually passed away last year. And I talked about how I wasn't upset. I wasn't happy that he passed away, even though he did this horrible thing to me when I was a child. I wasn't upset because I had let it go. I was more had compassion because his 17-year-old daughter lost her dad because he was a father figure to someone else. He was a brother, a son. And so I think the beautiful thing about being able to let go of trauma and the things that have happened to us, the thing I've always looked at was that every moment in our lives have led us to this moment right here. It's led me to this moment talking to you. It's led me to 30 shows. It's led me to LA. It's led me to being the person that I am today. And I love who I am today. And I don't think that I could have become who I am today without every single piece of my life experience. Bad, good, indifferent, whatever it may be. So I always say to people, don't live with regrets. Don't hold on to the past, because if one thing might have happened differently, you might not be here. If you got in a car accident yesterday, you might not be here.
Yes.
If that thing didn't happen to you, that might not have happened, and then you might not have had that opportunity. So I always try to encourage people. That doesn't mean to let go and you forget, but you forgive and you move on for yourself. And I am so much of a happier person. So out of all those foster homes, the good, the bad, all of that, I am who I am today. And each one of those taught me something that I still take with me into my life as an adult now. So that's how I get through it. And I just encourage any foster kid out there. I know some situations are really bad, and I just encourage them to know that there is light at the other end of the tunnel and to keep your head up.
That is a whole ass word right there. That is the whole. Everybody, Alexandra Grey, follow, donate your money, get when the movie's ready. Watch this amazing journey, because there's a lot more to come for sure. You're such a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing a piece of your heart and your story with us. It means so much.
Thank you, love. I'll hit you up in New York.
Deal.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you. Yeah, a very touching and moving story. Oh, Darius, genocide and eradicator, words from leaders we put in office. Disappointing. American citizens live in this country, and politicians talking about genocide, eradicating a group of people. Whew. Makes you think who a real terrorist is, right? Well, I will say this. I long and look forward for the day we can have a show where we just talk about art and we don't see people based on their gender or their nationality or their race or their religion or their sexuality. I look forward for the days when we are able to not talk about other people like this. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to practice it. But you have to let people live their life freely and safely. And they're not bothering you, so leave them alone. What an inspirational show. Thanks to Alexandra and Byron for sharing their life story, paving the way for others and making a difference. Both beautiful humans, wishing them both happiness and success. Same. I wish them both nothing but the best and success. And I wish you a lot of success for bearing with me and hanging with me for this hour. Sometimes it's a deep conversation. Sometimes it's fun. I promise you next week will be fun. It will be about art. And we're going to keep using our voices and this platform. I dreamed and wished for a day where I was able to have a point of view and have something to say. Thanks to my acting class, thanks to William Esper, thanks to Barbara Marchand, who was the person who taught me that I had something to say, and I was more than a fifth grade teacher. This show was born, and I want to say thank you for watching it. Because of you, we get to have stories like this, and these stories like this, hopefully somebody out there is listening, and somebody out there is inspired and needs to hear what they need to hear. And if anything else, it's to inform people. You heard their feelings, you heard their emotions, you heard that they're real people that hurt and love and feel just like you do. So let's show some love, and let's stand up and use our voices and vote and be active on a community level, on a grassroots level, to make changes, inspire and help somebody today. Thank you so much for being here. I wish you so much love and joy. I hope you have the best weekend. Happy St. Patrick's Day. May the luck of the Irish be to you. Eat all that corned beef and cabbage and Irish soda bread to your heart's content. And thank you much for everybody who's joined me today. I appreciate you all so much for being here. Until next week, some of the cast of Parade will be here, as well as American Idol Nick Frediani. I'm looking forward to being here with you and to see you in the future. God bless you. See you all again real soon. Thanks so much. Have a good one. Goodbye, everybody. Take care.